Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles, where fans become family. Apologize to everybody. Appreciate everybody's patience as we get a little bit of a late start. It's a little busy of a morning, but Donald will be with us shortly to join in and throw his takes into it. But let's lead it off as we wait for Donald. I don't want to get into Schmidt just yet, although I do really want to get it. We did win another series, and I think this was the first series we won where it was a team that is not playing great home field baseball. I think they only had like 7 wins at home so far this year. They kind of gave us a good, they made us earn it. That's how I looked at this series. It was a hard-fought series that we were able to get. And, Soto, the big triple yesterday kind of solidified the series win. And it's just one of these where it doesn't always have to be pretty. It just has to be a W in the win column, because that's just the reality of a long season of baseball. So when you look at the overall gameplay, the pitching, phenomenal. The hitting was, for lack of a pun, hit or miss. How is everybody feeling, Rob? How did you feel overall about how the series went?
Series wins always great. That's I'm hearing an echo.
On your end.
Okay, I'll see if I can mute until I.
But what's up to everybody in the chat? Good to see everybody. But yeah, series win is always a good thing. You're never going to complain about it. We could have had a sweep, probably should have had a sweep if not for that first game. And these are the teams you want to beat, even on the road. It's tough to go East Coast to West Coast, but they took 2 out of 3, and they continue to win series. They went the entire month of May and did not lose a series. That's pretty impressive. Continue to be one of the best teams in baseball, the best team in the AL, and now back to 20 games over 500. So they took care of business, and it could have easily have been a sweep, but they'll take a series win every single time.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway. You're going to lose some games. That's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. You could, sometimes it's just not your day. But the whole month of May, they really were very dominant. With series after series, the 4-game split, they had in the middle of it. They've really shown that this is not a team to be, and we had this feeling coming into it for a while, but this is really not a team to be messing with, because we're still, even though we're losing this, we're waiting to get Cole back. Even the subtraction with Schmidt's injury, the depth of this team, it's not going to derail the momentum. I believe that to be true. I think they can still keep a lot of the momentum going and still win the games, making sure they call up the right pieces. The Yankees are exactly where they need to be, because when you're 20 games above 500, it gives you that cushion to have little hiccups. Make adjustments to the roster. Play around with the lineup a little more, because it's easy to just put everything back where it was. And I think that they've done it. I think when Boone's making these lineups out, the fact that we have LeMahieu back, they didn't automatically insert him right back into the leadoff spot, and they had him in the 9 hole. I think that was such a big decision. That was an easy decision. And even LeMahieu's like, look, you play me wherever you need me to. Like, there's no ego on this team. They're all playing with, to boost each other up. No, even the guys that are playing for a contract for next year, it's not about, they're not about themselves. And they're always just kind of passing the baton to the next person, being each other's teammates' cheerleaders. And I think that's another big part of why they are where they are.
Yeah, and it's a loaded roster too. It doesn't hurt to have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. It doesn't hurt to have Anthony Volpe playing the way he's playing. It doesn't hurt to have a rotation that's setting records and doing things that hasn't been done in well over a century. So, and even last night, that was the first time that a starter has not given up 2 runs or less in a game. And it was a really good start from Rodon. He got a bit unlucky in that last inning. The bullpen couldn't help him out. Probably shouldn't have been given that much of a leash, but considering the lead and his pitch count wasn't too high, I understand why they kept him in there. But if 6 innings, 3 runs is what's considered a sloppy start now, that tells you how good our rotation has been. And I think we're going to be able to survive the loss of Clark Schmidt. It sucks because he's pitching so well. He was right there with Heel as our one of our best pitchers, probably our second best pitcher behind him in a rotation that's been so good. But a lot of people are talking about it. Poteet is the choice. He's going to start Saturday. Um, Joe, and I think Beater's still on the IL. That's why they go to him. I thought Poteet was also hurt, but apparently he's fine with that blister he had. But this goes to show you that you can never have too much depth. And that's why a week ago people were talking about, oh, do you trade Nestor Cortez when Garrett Cole comes back? And you can't trade any starting pitching right now because you just don't know what's going to happen. Case in point, no one thought Clark Schmidt was hurt. Next thing you know, he's on the IL, and it's going to be a while. He's going to be out for at least 4 to 6 weeks of not throwing, and then it's going to take him maybe a month or so to ramp up. So you're looking at late July, the earliest, and sometime in August he'll probably be back, which is tough because he was having such a good season, following up a pretty strong season last year. But I think this year we have the pitching to survive an injury, and knowing that Garrett Cole will be back in a couple of weeks, I think we're going to be able to deal with this. And yeah, the offense playing the way it's playing and Volpe going on this tear. Unfortunately, his hitting streak came to an end, but things are clicking. And just a couple of issues on this team that need to get sorted out, like the bullpen, the left-hander specifically. But there's very few things to be upset about right now. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The game's over and in first place.
Yeah, and the fact that they're not, they came right out. There was no speculation about with Cole. They pretty much shut the narrative down pretty much immediately that this is not going to speed up his process. I thought because your first thought was, they're gonna, because we've seen it so many times in the past with injuries. Oh, now they're gonna rush him back because they're gonna need to fill that void. No, you don't need to rush him back. You have enough players that you said Poteet, who was phenomenal in his spot start. That they are making the moves. What's going on, Donald? We'll get your intake onto with Schmidt's injury in a second. We'll take a deeper dive now that you're with us. I think it's just one of these where, there's no need to rush Cole back. Let him stay the course. He's too important to the second half of this year. Let him come back. Let him come back when he's ready. Let him tell you. Don't let the doctors tell you. So, with that, Donald, how is everything going? What was your takeaway from another series win? And how you feeling about the announcement with Schmidt getting hurt?
Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday, Rob. Happy Friday, Uncle T. And happy Friday, everybody in the chat. Let's say a big hello, everybody in the chat. Put your hit the like button, hit the sub button if you haven't already done so. And say hi to us in the chat. We'll give you guys a shout out in a minute. The Clark Schmidt news sucks, both for us and for him. He was having an excellent year. And he was really spreading his wings, and he was really finally showing that he was the top prospect that we all thought he was a couple of years ago. He was finally showing that this year. I thought he was immense this season. He developed that third pitch, and he was dominating on the mound. So on a personal level for him, I feel terrible for him. I really do. And for us, it sucks too, because that depth and what he was giving us on the mound really sucks. However, It's not the end of the world. Not even close. We're actually in pretty good shape. Garrett Cole will be back, I'd say 2-3 weeks. He's due to start his rehab assignment next week, according to Aaron Boone. Maybe like 3 rehab outings from there, and then you could be talking about him being ready to pitch off a big league mound. And then as for our options until then, we got Cody Poteet, and Poteet was fantastic in his maiden voyage for the Yankees this year. I thought he was excellent. So I'm looking forward to seeing him actually pitch again on Saturday. So that's really the long and the short of it. It's just on a personal level, really sucks for him. He was doing an amazing job this year. He's actually been better than he was last year. He was pretty good last year, but he's actually a better pitcher this year, and that's why it's unfortunate, because you always want to continue that development. You want to continue that progression, and but having said that, at least it's not a Tommy John situation, anything like that. 4 to 6 weeks no throw, and then you're probably looking at about a month after that just to rebuild his arm until he's ready to go again. So you're probably looking at a conservative estimate of about 10 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks from now, which would take us into about August, before mid-August, I would say, at the earliest. More likely end of August, 1st of September, I would say, until you see Clark Schmidt again. But whether that changes the Yankees' thoughts towards the trade deadline, I'm not sure. It depends on how the rest of the rotation works out. I don't think any of the Yankees would have expected Luis Gil to be the best pitcher in baseball. So now that we actually do have our 1B with Garrett Cole, there isn't really not necessarily much of a need to go after a starting pitcher in the trade deadline. But we'll see, as long as there's no other injuries, of course. But we'll see how things progress from there. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, I think it is a personal blow for him. It sucks for us because the rotation, they just broke that record, last go around through, and you were just really, feeling really good about, Schmidt, Heel, Nestor. Sometimes as frustrating as and puzzling as his outings can be, he's still been very solid. Like, he hasn't really none of the starters have completely just shit the bed. They've been, there's every game we've been able to win. Yeah. So, it is a blow to the rotation. It really is. There's no other way to put it. But like you said, and I think that you made a great point, Donald, it's not a Tommy John situation. It's just the lat muscle. You'll be fine. And like NFE said earlier in the chat, probably, little maybe after the deadline, we'll have, he'll be just about ready to come back into the fold.
I think it'll be a little bit later than that. But Joan's got a question for Rob here. When do you expect Beater to be back, Rob?
I don't think anybody knows yet. Because immediately when the injury came down and they called up Morris, everyone was like, what about Beater? What about Beater? And I guess people don't, you got to follow the Scranton Military Rail Riders page. You got to follow the Yankees transactions page, and it'll tell you he's on the IL. I don't know when he's coming back, Joan. I wish he was healthy because he would have been my first choice. I didn't know Poteet was okay. I thought he was also going to still be hurt for a little while, but luckily he's not. I was really leaning towards, do they give Will Warren a shot? Because they really don't have anyone else. But Warren's been so bad, I didn't know how that was going to work out. But luckily Poteet's okay. But no, Joan, I have no clue when Beater is back. I talked to Dane. I don't think Dane even knows yet. So we're looking just kind of puzzled right now when he's supposed to be back. And it sucks because he would have been the first choice, in my opinion. But we'll probably see Morris I hope they let Morris pitch today. That's all I'm going to say. I hope they let Morris at least get one outing, because when they called him up last time, he just sat there and then they sent him down. But I think that they let him pitch tonight. They'll send him down. They'll call up Poteet. And if Poteet pitches well, we just need him for maybe 3 starts, maybe 4 starts max until Cole's back. And if he struggles, maybe they give Yoendrys Gomez a shot because he pitched really well yesterday in Scranton. So they have options, which is a good sign, despite the injuries to even some of our depth guys and some of our depth guys struggling down the minors. They still have Poteet. Gomez is an option, and just got to survive these next couple of weeks without Schmidt until Cole is back. And like you said, Donald, it's not the end of the world. That we're in a much better position now to survive an injury to the rotation than we were a year ago. Had this happened last year, we were already bad or struggling. It would have been catastrophic. I think we can survive it right now.
Let's see a little at the chat. We've got Lit from the Upper Deck. I just hit the like button. It was fun and easy to do. I highly recommend it. Hit the like
And it's
button.
free.
Nice and easy. Hit that like button. And if I would love to see Will Warren, but I heard he's not looking great. That is an understatement, NFE. That is an understatement.
Terrible.
And I was going to say Gomez. Like to see Gomez. I like Gomez a lot, actually. Stevie B. What's happening, Stevie B? Cashman will find someone to pull in on the trade market to innings. It's possible. It depends on. Yeah, it depends on what happens. From which way forward, we've got Frederico. What's happening, Frederico? We've got FJ. We didn't need lefties in the pen. That is not a bad take at all. In fact, that's a great take. So to FJ. What is NFC? Schmidt will probably be back after the deadline. I'd say after the deadline. I would say, as I say, I think more likely mid to end August, start of September. This is dependent on making sure there's no like setbacks, which is very common in rehabbing. So I think it's fair to say it's going to be a little while. Good to see Lou in the chat again. Thank you very much for joining us on a Friday. TFI Friday. Joel Coelho, you never have enough pitching and don't rush back Cole. That's a great point. Great point, Joel. So the Yankees' depth will be tested a little bit. I think it's fair to say that. Dev Finch in the chat as usual. Salute to you, Jonathan, as usual as well. All our favorite guys, but Li Yankee King as well. Thanks so much for joining us, Li. Sean, this is why Cashman gets a stockpile of long relief / starter hybrid pitchers for times like this. Good point, Sean. Good point. And he's going to have to do it. He might need to find another reliever other than Caleb Ferguson because he stinks.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I think it's it's a testament to as much as sometimes some trades we scratch our heads with Gallo, but you have a GM. Just think of the pitching that they moved on from in trades to still have the amount of depth where you're still you did not hurt your pitching pipeline. You still have significant arms, and he's able to find some of these guys. We call them the Matt Blake projects. That guys that they might not have the best numbers, but under Matt Blake, you're starting to see they're molding into themselves, and they're being extremely productive arms out of the pen. Or spot starters like guys like Poteet. Where it's even like when we got Holmes, we were going, "What the hell are you getting him for?" And look what he's done. Yes, maybe his last couple of starts haven't been the strongest, but that happens to any player. If a batter can slump, so can an arm. So it's just a matter of how they respond to it.
Here's an update on Will Warren's stats. Before we proceed, 3-4 with an 8.53 ERA.
Yep.
In 10 starts. 42 earned runs in 44 innings. 13 home runs given up. 51 hits in 44 innings. And a batting average against of almost 300. I think we can safely say he should be nowhere near a big league mound right now. And that is why we trust the Yankees on this. Because I remember having several debates that, how could the Yankees do this to Will Warren? Will Warren should be in the rotation. Well, Luis Gil outpitched him for a reason. And he's a better pitcher. I said at the start, he's a better pitcher than Will Warren. He's got better stuff. When your best stuff tops off as a fourth or fifth starter at best, I'd always go with the upside. And Luis Gil has the upside, and then he's shown it this year. He's shown it. So that's why
Is it
we should
Luis?
look to the Yankees and pay attention to the kind of stuff that you're seeing. I didn't think that Will Warren had great stuff. Every time I looked at him, I was like, I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling it. As Stevie B says, Warren's mechanics is out of whack. Yeah, I'm not a big
Everything's
Will
out of
Warren
whack,
fan,
Stevie V.
to be honest. But
Everything's out of whack, Stevie.
yeah,
He doesn't look good at all, and it's surprising because Li was with us last night. We were in the Twitter Spaces, and we were trying to figure it out, just like what is it, and no one knows. Everyone just watches him pitch because he looked good in the spring. He didn't look as good as Heel, but he did not have a bad spring by any means. If Heel did not outpitch him the way he did, Warren would have been a really good option for the fifth starter based off of his stats. And to see him struggle like this is just puzzling. And right, Joan, Warren is far better than the stats show. It's just, is it mechanics? Is he thinking too much? Maybe he has too many pitches at his disposal. Maybe he needs to work on finding 3 of the best ones and just work on that, because he does have the stuff to, like you said, be a bottom of the rotation guy, number 3 max. He's not going to be a 2 or a 1, but the stuff is there. He is a special player. There's a reason why the Yankees want to keep him. There's a reason why Cincinnati wanted him 2 years ago for Luis Castillo. He's got good stuff, but these numbers certainly are not reflective. But I was going to say about Ferguson, isn't it weird that when we get pitchers that have a decent track record, they struggle? But when we get guys that stink, they come over here and they pitch really well. Like, look at Tonkin. Tonkin's been good for us, and he was passed around the league like a used,
Yeah.
And now we have Ferguson, who is actually a really reliable, solid left-handed arm, and he comes here and he can't get anybody out. It's really puzzling because I don't get it, because I'm looking forward to now getting a guy with an ERA of 6. It's like, oh, yeah, give me all your terrible ERA pitchers because I want to see Matt Blake fix them. But if we go and get a guy who's got like a 1.3 ERA, I'm like, uh-oh. Like, I don't know. It's weird because it's been happening that we get these good pitchers and they're not as good. But when we get these terrible pitchers, and Jorge Lopez, well, if we got Jorge Lopez, he would end up being absolutely lights out. I have no doubt in my mind. I just don't think you touch a player like him right now.
No, not right now.
But yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
I would say it's the sinker effect. If you've got a good sinker, Matt Blake will develop it, regardless of how the rest of your pitches are. If you got a good sinker, Matt Blake will make the absolute most of it. I think that's really the long and the short of it. Just look at Tonkin. Like, Tonkin's terrible. Let's just be honest about it. But Matt Blake makes him look good because he's got a good sinker, and he actually looks really good for us. So there you go. It's just that's the thing. I think it's if you got a sinker and Matt Blake wants to work with you, I think he can make you into a special player. Just look at Weaver. I mean, actually, to be honest, it's going through the roof now, and that's why Cashman's done really well to acquire the kind of arms that Matt Blake likes. He's obviously talking to Matt Blake, going, right, who do you like? I'm probably going with our analytics crew, going, right, who's got a good sinker, which plays well at Yankee Stadium? This guy, he'll be cheap. He's been passed around like you know what, and he'll be available for nothing. Right, bring him in. Matt Blake will work with him, and I think that's kind of the stuff that's been happening, and that's really smart. It's a smart way of working here, and Matt Blake is a big part of what the Yankees are doing. He's actually semi indispensable right now. His role is indispensable. And that's why our ERA of our rotation is unbelievable. He's developing guys unbelievably, and we've got a good bullpen of kind of unknowns. You know what I mean? It's not a big name bullpen like we've had in the past. This is kind of a hodgepodge bullpen, but it looks good. Now there's still some issues there, but it still looks good. It looks fairly good. And Caleb Ferguson's by far the worst pitcher in a bullpen, which is really it. Everyone else has done pretty much fine.
Yeah, and with Sean's comment, with the sinkers, cutters, knuckle curves, but that's kind of where Matt Blake is really, that's where his specialty is finding those the all speed pitches and building the pitcher's confidence in throwing them, and understanding, working with the catches also of what counts to use these pitches in. Don't just rely on them, utilize them. And that's two different things. You could use your whole arsenal. Like Warren's got an insane arsenal of pitches, but if he's not utilizing his better pitches in certain counts, then that's why he's going to have the numbers he does. And Steven also pointed out he didn't have the best defense behind him for a couple of games, which could be also a factor with the numbers as well, because it doesn't make sense that his numbers are that bad. Warren is so much better than that.
Blake is why he matured mentally and settled in so quickly since his first few outings. It's had a big role to do. So is Garrett Cole. Don't forget the Garrett Cole effect.
Yes.
Yes.
Since he's been working with Cole, that command has been so much better. And I noticed something because I was looking at Heel's Savant page, and going into the season, he was fastball slider, working on the changeup. They've used the changeup more. He's actually used the changeup more this year than his slider, and his changeup might be his best pitch now, which is scary because his fastball is a plus, and his slider was already considered really good. He's developed that changeup into a real weapon. He's got 3 legit pitches now, and that's why he's as good as he's been. Walks are down. He's not afraid to throw that changeup anywhere in the zone. Plus, when he's got 2 strikes, he says, "Here comes 99 at your head. Try to hit it." The dude is a dog out there, and that's exactly what we want. Like the dog thing that Verdugo said earlier this year, that applies to Luis Heel. He is not afraid of a single person out there. He doesn't care if it's Shohei Ohtani. He doesn't care if it's Mike Trout. He's going after you, and that's what you want to see. He's saying, "I'm going to give you my best stuff. Try and hit me." And he had another fantastic start. I was shocked to see him go 8 innings because maybe the Yankees knew something about Schmidt and they changed their approach with Heel, because we've been hearing about this innings limit with him at 100, maybe 120 max. Maybe they have some new technology or something to monitor what he's doing with his arm. Maybe because we were talking about this last night, and Li, if you're still in the chat, I can't remember who said it, but maybe they're monitoring it by pitches instead of innings thrown, because an inning can be anywhere from 3 to 30 pitches. So maybe they're saying, how many pitches is he throwing? And we'll see if it's having an effect on his arm. I'm sure they're checking up on him as often as they can because this dude is special. So maybe they're doing something like that where it's like not necessarily the innings, but how many pitches is he throwing? And then you can still monitor that and maybe lower his pitch count throughout the year and use a guy to piggyback off of him, which is what they should do just to make sure he's good for the future. But okay, it was Danner hit one of the 3. Yeah, you're right. I can't remember who it was, but they were right. That's a good point, because an inning could be 3 pitches. It could be 35. It could be 40. It could be really a bad inning. So,
yeah.
But we can't say enough about Luis Heel. He continues to be the best pitcher in this rotation, in a rotation that's been stunningly good.
Yeah, and he's also staying out of his head when he has that rough at bat. Or if he doesn't, he was getting very emotional in the beginning of the year. He was letting the umpires dictate his mood, and he shook that off. And I think that was also a big part of when Cole started working with him, because that's when you saw that change. But no, I think that makes perfect sense, Rob, with the not the innings limit, but the pitch count, because he'll have innings where he'll have a lengthy inning, and then when they show like the pitch counts per inning, you'll see like he'll also follow it up with 7-8 pitch inning. So he's not laboring through every frame. He's able to, all right, you might have made me work last inning, but I'm going to shut you down this time. Relying more on the contact and the defense behind him. So that's also a factor with him.
Well, the big thing with Luis Heel is that he just needed to learn that he didn't need perfect location on his pitches. His pitches didn't have to be so pinpoint perfect, because he's got the stuff that you could blow you away. He just needed to trust it a little bit more. That was it. I think he was at times in 2021, and at times, obviously, at the start of this year, he was trying to be a little bit too pinpoint. And I recall a conversation there Boone had with him in the dugout where he's like, you don't need to be perfect. Just trust your stuff. You are the man out there. He said it himself. He's like, you are the man out there, man. You just got to trust your stuff. Your stuff is crazy good. Just let it go. Trust it. Let it rip. It's got a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. There's and it plays high as well, especially when you mix it with that nice changeup that he's got. The changeup has been the big thing for Luis Gil this year, but now that he's mixing it with his fastball plays higher and faster, and no one's going to catch up to it. As long as it's in and around the zone and it's playing high, it's a rising fastball. No one's hitting that shit, and as you can see, no one has hit it. Look at his numbers in May. His numbers in May is crazy. 6-0 with a 0.70 ERA with 44 strikeouts.
Yep.
I mean,
It's
that's
insane.
remarkable stuff. He's at the moment, he's on course to be the starting pitcher in the All-Star game. That's what I mean. He's got a sub-2 ERA. He's a 1.99 ERA for the year. These are numbers that is just mind-boggling. This guy is an incredible pitcher. We've done such a great job with him, and it's time to give credit to the Yankees, man. We've over the years they haven't done a great job of developing pitchers, especially. They're doing it now, and oh my God, we have an unbelievable pitcher on the mound, and he can really just. He's also a really good dude too. He's a happy dude. He's got a good demeanor on the mound. He's going to be the future. He's the now and the future of this team. And him with Garrett Cole, the professor, the future is very bright for the Pinstripes. Let's be honest about it.
You know what's crazy is Cole never had a stretch like this for us, even when he won the Cy Young last year. Cole never did this, and that's scary because Cole was phenomenal last year. And what Luis Gil's doing right now is better than anything we saw from Cole last season. His numbers at this point last year, Cole was having a really good year. Gil's been better. So this is not a flash in the pan type of thing. This is 2 months of just absolutely dominant pitching.
That's true. Like Garrett Cole in his first 11 starts of 2023 was 5-0 with a 2.53 ERA and 70 strikeouts. Luis Gil in the first 11 starts of 2024 is 7-1 with a 1.99 ERA and 79 strikeouts. Credit to the account at DJ Le MVP, which I agree. DJ is the MVP. Well, he was for a while. So a shout out to that guy. So we certainly don't want to take the credit away from that. It was a very good post, but that's spot on to what Rob's point was. He's actually out pitching Garrett Cole, who won a Cy Young and was absolutely unhittable last year. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, it's and Sean's throwing in there. Pettit as well was working with them, but Pettit's not in the dugout working with them. So I don't think that's too much of a factor, but it is a factor, but not to the now. And LI, it's always good to know that you are back in true form. Luis Gil might be the guy that pushes the Yankees to trade Marcus Stroman, and then you followed it up by saying, after the season. I'm not thinking about moving any of these guys, even in the offseason. Because right now it looks like this is that type of roster you can come, just roll it back the next year, without missing a beat. And a couple new people that joined us as well. Good morning, Mr. Barrows, Will Starr. Good morning. So let's talk about Aaron Judge.
I was going to say.
And, 24 extra base hits in the month of May. For a guy that in April looked like, we were trying to figure out what was going on. And in May, you just can't, you can't stop him. He has completely transformed his season, and it's weird when I see people, we were going, people that really were questioning, should he be the captain? And we weren't having any of that. But you get Aaron Judge, you got 24 extra base hits. So he is now tied with Babe Ruth for the month of May. There's still one more game tonight. What are the, it's looking pretty good in his favor, that he's going to break that record. He's going to pass Babe Ruth for the most extra base hits in a month.
Jedi Judge. It's the Jedi Judge effect, baby. It's the best month I've ever seen from anyone ever. I've never seen anything like it. 99, baby.
I said it already the other day. I can't say enough about this. This is the best. He's like outside of like the dynasty guys, because Bernie's always gonna be my favorite. But watching Aaron Judge play the way he's played throughout his entire career, the second we drafted him, I was like, this dude's gonna be special. And I had conversations with my dad 2016, and I don't know if he remembers this or not. He was about the team. I said, don't worry, Aaron Judge is coming. And 2017 happened. He was like, you were right, Rob. So I don't know if he remembers that, but I had these conversations with him. Aaron Judge is an absolute beast. He's the best player in baseball. I've said this time and time again. I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. There's a reason he's the captain of this team. There's a reason he is the best player in baseball. This month has shown you why there's nobody that comes close to Aaron Judge in this sport. And if there is someone that comes close, he's the guy that's hitting number 2 in our lineup. So enjoy it, because we've got an absolutely scary duo in this lineup. And yesterday you saw Judge hits an absolute monster shot early on. And then what does Juan Soto do? Here's a 3-run triple. Let's put the game on ice. Let's win the series. You don't see this every day, and we're seeing it every day. So enjoy it, Yankees fans, because we've got something historic in this lineup, and we're going to have it for another at least 8 years until Aaron Judge's contract runs out. He probably retires for that, but it's going to be a very, very fun summer, and it's going to be a very fun 7 or 8 years after that, because these two are unstoppable.
No, they are unstoppable. My man Soto has 49 RBIs, and Aaron Judge has 41, 42.
They're doing the job. They're doing
Already.
their job.
We're talking about already. Yeah. We're only just started June, baby. We're only about to start June. They're already at that precipice of both having a 1,000 OPS, and they're just on course just having incredible years. As I say, I've never seen a month like this from anyone. And we're talking about Mickey Mantle, Lou Gehrig days, Babe Ruth days. That's what we're talking about. Not even Mickey Mantle did this. Babe Ruth, Mr. Baseball. He is baseball as far as I'm concerned, Babe Ruth. And Aaron Judge is tying his records. Amazing.
Apparently, we traded Luis Torrens to the Mets. That's what Li just said. We traded Torrens, one of our 87 catchers.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't see anywhere where what the return was. What do you say? It doesn't seem like it's been out yet. But we'll keep an eye on that. We'll try to see if we can get the other half of that trade before we sign off today. And Mr. Barros, you're right. Those are scary stats for a month. It really it doesn't, regardless, it doesn't matter what month it is. That players don't do that, And
check the Mets bullpen to see if they have any high ERA guys. Hopefully, you get one of them. Give me a guy with an 8 ERA, and Matt Blake will fix him. What if it's for Lopez?
It's the Mets. Everyone's got an 8 ERA. What are you talking about?
Well, no, because they actually have some solid pitchers, right? Like Lopez wasn't terrible. I swear to God, if it's for Jorge Lopez, I'm going to laugh my ass. We were just talking about that earlier.
Yeah, and then what is it? He's David Peterson. I don't know. Maybe we released the mess, but probably not. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. But while we are looking into that, it is that time for let's get to some awards.
Salute. Here we go. Another series win under the books. We've done it again. An entire month of winning. Amazing. So let's get to the MVP. Let's start with Uncle Tats.
Right. My MVP for this year, I went with Gil. I think that he had it all, and he's we've been talking about how dominant he's been. So there's my MVP.
Li, is anyone else here? Donald echo? Yeah, I was gonna say I could hear there was an echo, but I think Uncle Tats has muted his microphone. It was coming from his end, so I'm glad he's fixed that. Okay, let's go to Rob. Rob, who is your MVP?
I'm going to give it to Volpe. Up until yesterday, and he had the hitting streak, and it was unfortunate. He hit a couple of hard balls yesterday. I thought should have been hits. That stadium's a nightmare. But the other day he had that triple that turned into like a little league home run, and just looking like just the way he looked, like how happy he was, just kind of like chugging down the third baseline, knowing he was going to score because the ball went to the dugout. I think Volpe had a really good series, and I'm going to give him the MVP because I feel like we've been giving it Judge and Soto every single series. I want to change it up a little bit. Let me give it to my shortstop.
He deserves a shout out. To be honest, all the awards are just going to four guys. It's been four guys. It's been Judge, it's been Soto, it's been Volpe, and it's been Verdugo. Those are the guys that have just been running away with all the awards apart from the pitching awards. But rightfully so. They've all been phenomenal. Absolutely mind-blowing. So it's really hard to choose which ones deserve which awards because they've all been phenomenal most of the year. I am going to change it up, though, and I'm going to give Luis Gil the award for the MVP. So I'm going with Uncle Tats here. I think Gil deserved it. To go to 8 innings is unbelievable. He didn't even hit 100 pitches by the time he reached those 8 innings. He actually could have gone all 9, and I don't know if he would have even reached 100 pitches. That he was that dominant. So that's what we're talking about. It was so unbelievable. It was an incredible pitching display, and he did it with such ease. He was just so comfortable out there. He just strolled through them. It was just like a walk in the park for him. So Luis Gil gets the MVP. Shout out to him. Let's go to the fans. Right, fans, who have you got as your MVP?
Yeah, and the other thing with Gil, remember, he had to come in after that, the blown game the day before. Where sometimes you could just have those, those hangover losses, and that was not the case with him. So that was, another factor.
So Frederick has Gil, Sunil has Judge, Sean says Volpe, Stephen B says Gil, Will Starr says Gil. I should say Will Warren. Hello, Will Warren. How are you? And NFC says Gil deserves the MVP, no doubt. Jonathan Gil. But there are a couple more votes for Judge. However, I believe that Gil wins it, although Luz just voted for Judge. I still think that Gil has most votes, just off the top of my head. It's very tight, though. I think it's just like 10-9 or something. It's that close. But I'm going to give the MVP to Luis Gil from the fans. Okay, low-key MVP, people. Low-key. This is where you can give it to anyone you want to be the backup MVP, the second MVP. Who have we got? Jones says it's rigged. It is. That's it. Stop the count. That's what I just did. Stop the count. Low key. Let's go with Rob. Who is your low key?
Juan Soto. I got to give him some shout out. As good as Judge was this series, Juan Soto had the bases clearing triple. He had the absolute mammoth home run to start the series. He had an overall really good series. If it wasn't for Volpe being so good with the glove as well as his bat, I would have given this to Soto, but I would have given the MVP to Soto. But yeah, Soto right there with Volpe. These two had phenomenal series.
I completely agree. This is going to be a tough one for me. That's why I'm going to ask Uncle Tats first. Uncle Tats.
Yeah, this was a tough one because it could have gone because the MVP and low key, there was so many. There's no wrong way to go.
No.
I went with Judge, just the way he punctuated he's punctuating the end of the month. It easily could have been Volpe, easily could have been Soto. Rodon. Like there were so many different options you could have gone to. But I finalized my decision with the captain.
It's between Volpe and Soto for me, and it's literally a battle. And I what do I do? I feel terrible for voting against any of them. They both deserve it. Volpe was probably the MVP before he went hitless in the rubber match. But Juan Soto came through with the bases clearing triple, hit the mammoth home run. Damn it! I'm gonna go with my boy. You are my boy. The best all-round hitter in baseball. Juan Soto is the low-key MVP. Okay, let's go with the fans. Fans, who have you got? I think everyone is going with Volpe. Yeah, it's actually kind of unanimous. It's like 5,
Yes.
6, 7, like 7-1, 8-1. It's pretty
No
unanimous.
count needed here.
Yeah, I can't stop. I can't rig this vote, I'm afraid. Okay, let's go with a clutch award. I'm going to start with a clutch award, and I'm going to give it to my boy Verdugo. Verdugo had a clutch series, in my opinion. Just look at his diving play in left field. He's made some stupendous plays in left field, and it was a huge catch he made to probably save the game in game 2 right there. Amazing play. And he came through with the home run as well. He basically kind of won the game along with Luis Gil in game 2. So for me, I don't think there's any argument. I think the clutch award has to be Verdugo, the Dugo dog. I would love to find a way to get the Dugo dog to be here permanently because he kind of deserves it. Let's go with Rob.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I had Verdugo. His defense and that big home run. I mean, it was a 2-1 game, so there's only so many options you're looking at for our 2 wins. And we didn't really need that many clutch moments last night because that one inning just put the game away. So you kind of look at that second win, who came through in the clutch. I pretty much flipped a coin, Volpe or Verdugo, because they both had big hits and big defensive plays, and it landed on Verdugo. So there you go. I'm going to give Doogie Dog a little bit of credit there because he deserves it. He's been fantastic. He's been an absolutely incredible acquisition by Brian Cashman.
Great minds think alike. Let's see if great minds think alike with Uncle Tats.
No, I should have wrote him down based on what you guys were saying. But
I know it. Who's your option, guys?
Now, I had Soto. Just with just the Batsy, the bases clearing triple. Because I'm like that. I thought that was the knockout punch for the series win.
It's fair, bro. It's fair. And to be honest, I think the fans agree with you, my guy. Let's see. Sean has Soto. Sunil has Volpe. NFE has Soto. Len has Doogie. Lou has Soto. Sean has Verdugo. Stevie B has Soto. Damn. Stevie B.
And we got a mixed bag on this one.
Servicing. Right, that's not relevant. Let's see here. Volpe. Right. Who do you think wins?
We do.
That wins too.
That's 3 votes in one. I don't know how you lose that one.
I'm trying to find Soto wins. Here I am in full rig vote mode here. Salute to Rob's dad. Thank you for the wonderful comment. Appreciate it, my guy. Really do. Let's go with the pitching award. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Luis Gil. Let's go with Uncle Tats.
Well, I had Gil as my MVP, but for pitching, I gave it to Rodon. I think last night's game, he was unstoppable. He was untouchable.
Really? 6 innings, 3 runs? I wouldn't say that's untouchable.
Well, yeah, but up until what? It was in the 7th. he only given up one hit. So I just thought that he pitched really. I thought that he was the other outstanding pitcher next to Hill.
All right, Rob.
Caleb Ferguson. No, it's Luis Heel. Remember when we used to call him Gil? Remember that a couple of years ago? No one knew what his name was. Thank God we got some clarification on that pretty quickly in 2021. It's Luis Heel all the way. This guy has been phenomenal all season long, and once again had himself a fantastic 8 innings, 95 pitches, 8 strikeouts again. It's just unbelievable.
How many Gills do you know?
I never met a single person named Gil in my life. Maybe in Sunil's retirement home, there'll be a few.
There's Starks Gill, and there's Gil Chesterton from Frasier. The fit critic from Frasier. That's the only Gil I know. Well, not personally, because that was a fake. Then he doesn't exist. Anyway, let's ask the fans. The fans, who have you got? Actually got quite a lot of Rodons. A lot of recency bias, I think. Come on, guys. It's Luis Heel. Come on. What are we doing here? 8 innings.
Heel all the way.
All right, here
Heel
we go.
and Rodon.
Right, here we go. Heel. Couple of Rodons. Heels. You forgot Gilbert Gottfried. Is he? I guess.
Is it Gilbert or Gilbert?
That's the one that yelled all the time, right?
Yeah, he is.
He's like, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's Gil.
All right. It looks like the fans have gone with heel. I'm rigging this vote. There's no way. Okay, let's go with the Aaron Boone Award. Out of 10.
I gave him a 7. I thought, you can't. I don't want to go too high because there was no sweep. I think he could have made a few different decisions in the first game. I'm going to stick with the 7.
I don't think NFP is too happy with you, Uncle Tats. I think he said Boone gets a 10. Let's ask Rob.
10.
I can't blame him for that first game because that game was that was one of the bad innings that we talk about all the time. But the way he immediately screamed his head off at the umpires for that egregious call for interference the other night, I'm giving him a 10 because I love seeing that he was immediately going after him for that. So give him a 10.
Which was a bullshit call, but we'll get to that.
Eli, I give Boone a 10.
I must be in a parallel freaking universe. Earlier, he's saying he has no complaints about Cashman. Now he's giving him a 10.
Eli, I give Boone a 10. Now we know things are going crazy in Yankee universe when Eli is giving Aaron Boone a 10, and I'm here for it. I love it. And guess what?
Give him an extra point just for that.
Guess what? I agree. Aaron Boone gets a 10. He didn't take any shit this series. He also, you know what? It was a good call having he'll go 10 at 8 innings. It was a good call. Every pitching move was kind of right. I agreed with him going with Clay Holmes in the 9th. You want to go with your closer in that spot. Now, did Clay Holmes make us all shit ourselves? Absolutely. However, you go with your closer in that spot, so you can't really complain there. Even if it didn't work out in our favor, I still would have made that call. I think it's the right thing to do. I think he played that series right. I do complain. Question is why he swapped Stanton. I think Verdugo should have been in the cleanup hole. I didn't understand Stanton being in the cleanup hole. Do you guys agree with that?
Did it have something to do with the lefties? Is that why they changed it up a bit? Because we went against multiple lefties in this series.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. To me, I don't think the way Stanton's been playing as well. It's not that big a deal to me.
Well, he's actually looking kind of cold right now. I think he's in a cold spot.
Yeah, one of his streaks.
Yeah.
There's really no
Verdugo,
in between with him.
when we had the bases loaded and nobody out and Stanton swung at the first pitch, even though it was a great pitch to hit, he popped it up. You know that Verdugo wouldn't have done that. Verdugo would have made better contact and the run would have scored. You just know that. So it's okay. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to give him a 9. I didn't agree with him going with just swapping the people around in the order like that. So I'm going to give him a 9. Let's go with the fans. Quite a lot of 10s, a lot of 9s, a lot of 8s, a couple 7s. So I think overall we'll give him an 8 out of 10 from the fans. Let's go with my favorite award, the L. And there are quite a few L's, I'm sure, that we could find. Let's start with Rob. Who is your L for the series?
Fake Italian Anthony Rizzo. He's the reason I'm glad to be Irish. Error again. They took it away from him. They took it away again. He should have like 7 errors. Cost us to win. Cost us to sweep. Sorry, Rizzo, you're taking the L.
Are you Irish? Because I don't know too many Irishmen called Barros.
That's not my choice, my last name, but yes, I am Irish.
Oh, nice.
If I could not have that last name, I would have changed it a long time ago. I probably should. But my grandfather's last name is Barry. If there's not any more Irish than that,
that's fairly
maybe
Irish.
Sullivan or O'Sullivan might be more Irish. But no, that is very Irish.
That is incredibly Irish. And another person who's incredibly Irish is Uncle Tats. He couldn't be more Irish. Uncle Tats, who have you got?
I have Rizzo. The defense, the sloppiness on defense. We talked about it Wednesday's show. It was a focal point. So you can't not give it to him. I couldn't.
Yep. And without even thinking, without even looking, I actually wrote down my name and I put in Rizzo. So it's unanimous. Anthony Rizzo takes the L. It was really nice not to have to look at him yesterday. that was a W. Credit to Aaron Boone for that. God, Rizzo's been just awful to watch. He can't hit right now. He can't hit lefties, and he can't field his position. So yeah, really bad series. Really, really bad series from Anthony Rizzo, or as Lynn put it, Fizzo. That's a good one too. Quite like that. Okay, let's go with the fans. I don't think there's going to be too much of a question with the fans. Lots of Rizzos, quite a few umpires too.
I was going to say, it's
that's
between
the
the
glory of
umpires.
the Aaron Hicks Award. That's the glory of the Aaron Hicks Award. So you can save that up for the next one. What do you think, guys? Is the umpires getting this?
Looks like the umpires actually have quite a few votes.
It is. It's actually the umpires. The umpires have won this. Wow. Okay. The umpires suck. So you're not wrong, guys. You're not wrong. They were just terrible. And that leads us beautifully to the Aaron Hicks Award. The worst of the worst. The absolute worst of the worst. And I think this should be fairly easy. But let's start with Uncle Tats. Who is your Aaron Hicks Award winner for the series?
The umpires. That interference call, I just don't get it. It's the best was actually listening to Susan and on the radio about it. He's standing on the base. Where is he supposed to go? Like, she couldn't figure, and nobody knew what the hell the details of the rules were. What is he supposed to do? Leave the bag? Run around in a circle and to get out of the guy's way? I mean, it doesn't work that way. If he's standing on the bag, you can't call it. I don't think you should be able to call an interference on that. I think the umpires and the rule book will give credit to that too. Just completely, they screwed it up.
It was a disgrace, absolute disgrace. Rob,
Look, I can easily pick on the umpires, but we're going to be doing plenty of that, and everyone's doing plenty of that. I'm going to continue my crusade, my absolute hatred for WFAN, because once again, one of their stupid, overpaid idiots that they have on that network decided, let's have a trade idea. And what if the Yankees offered Spencer Jones for Pete Alonso? Do they pay for bad takes at WFAN? Because if that's the case, then Sunil should apply. LI should apply for his past trade ideas. They'd be getting paid millions for some bad takes over there. How do you pay people for these takes between Tierney and Licata and this other CMAC guy, the idiot last week for whatever I don't know. I could go on for hours talking about these guys. They stink, but just because I know you two are going to go with the umpires, and don't get me wrong, they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. But when I saw that Spencer Jones for half a season of Pete Alonso, I wanted to punch my own phone screen, but that would cost me too much money to fix. It's unbelievable how these guys have jobs in the sports world and they get paid for ridiculous takes like this.
And no one has any idea who Spencer Jones is. I can absolutely guarantee you that. Lock it down. They've just seen that name going, oh, I'll just trade him. Pete Alonso, no. I don't even want him as a free agent next year. I want nothing to do with Pete Alonso. He is a loser. I do not like Pete Alonso, okay? I think he's overrated. I'll say it again. I don't think he'd actually help this team. And he doesn't have the right mentality. He hasn't helped that Mets team at all. They're desperately in need of a leader, and he occasionally hits home runs, but he's a low average guy, and he's not even a great fielder. He doesn't do anything that's actually great. So why do I, apart from hitting home runs, which is fine, but he's not been great this year. I think he's incredibly overrated, but that's by the by. We got Spencer Jones who can do anything. So that's a stupid take, but it's WFAN, man. Like they've lost everything they ever had. Once Mike Francesa retired and once Beningo went to Florida, they have nothing left now. They're just completely empty. I think the best guy they have, Brandon Tierney, I have to say, but he's being dragged down to the depths with that moron, unmitigated moron named Salicata. He is the biggest moron I have ever seen get paid to talk sports because he has no idea what he's talking about. He hasn't a clue. There's he doesn't have one bit of knowledge, one iota knowledge, and it's freaking mind blowing. So I agree with Rob. Actually, the WFA is a very good take, but mine is going to be, I think the umpires, more specifically the crew chief for Game 2. You freaking moron. I managed to avoid it. There you go. I managed to avoid it, so we'll be okay with a watershed. He is a freaking moron. What was Soto supposed to do? He did everything right. Right? What is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to dance around the base? Is he supposed to do an Irish jig around the base? What is he supposed to do to avoid the second baseman who ran into him? He ran into him. What was Soto supposed to do? He had to get back and touch the base. That is Soto's right. As a base runner, he has to get back. He did his job. He tried to avoid the guy, but the guy ran into him. This is awful. And this is on MLB. I could even take it further. It's on Rob Manfred. Manfred has allowed these umpires carte blanche to ruin games. And this is league-wide now. This is not a Yankee issue. I'm not saying that they're biased against the Yankees. What I'm saying is they're freaking morons. Every last one of them are freaking morons. They are absolutely throwing this season. I'm looking league-wide. Every time I watch SportsCenter, there is another horrendous call that is happening all over the league. They're throwing games at a meteoric rate, and they're throwing managers out for no reason. They've thrown Aaron Boone out twice in the first inning. Now, we are lucky that we've got such a good team that it didn't matter. But normally, if you lose your manager after the first inning, that could seriously affect game plans, games. the first inning. I don't care what the manager's doing in the first inning. You have to show a level of thinking about this and not just go nuts and just throw the guy out. I don't care if Aaron Boone was mooning the umpire. It's the first inning. And also, he was absolutely right. What do you want Boone was doing? All Boone was doing was defending Soto, saying, where is he supposed to go? That's all I ever saw Boone do. He said, where is he supposed to go? Where is he supposed to be? And the crew chief threw him out. It's freaking mind-blowing. So,
but here's the other issue.
They're throwing games. They're holding managers hostage. They're holding games hostage. And I'm sick of it. And it's on MLB. This goes to MLB because you've allowed your umpires carte blanche to completely control and dominate games where you have no business doing it. Your only job right now is to call balls and strikes and outs. That's all you have to do. It's not about you. You're having a good game if I don't have to talk about you. That's always been the case with umpires. Referees all over sports, that's a good referee or a good umpire. If you don't have to talk about them, that means they've done their job. So stop making it about yourself. I know you're not getting the pay that you think you deserve, but you're not going to get it anyway. So stop what you're freaking doing. Because you're ruining games. And I'm sick of watching it. And I'm sick of seeing managers thrown out for no reason. And I'm sick of seeing games being stopped and ended. And it's just disgraceful. You're getting very emotional, Donald. I am. Because it's a sport that's being held hostage by a bunch of freaking frauds in umpire jerseys. So there was nothing that Soto could have done in that spot. And that's infuriating. And in these spots, you should be able to call to the MLB office to say, right, that's actually the wrong call. Boone, you're not thrown out. Boone, get back in the dugout. You should, in these situations, you should be able to have it go to the league office and the league office make the decision, in my opinion, because it would stop a lot of this shit. And it is shit.
See, the other thing is, last week there was a game that ended on the same situation, and they never learned that lesson from that. After they had to come out and be like, "Yeah, it was the wrong call." A week later, they do the same exact thing. At least this one didn't end the game. But once you call the infield fly rule, the ball is dead.
Yeah.
So how do you have an infield fly rule and an interference in the same play? That's the part of it that makes absolutely no sense at all. There's a total they're misreading that. They got to clarify that freaking rule. On the infield fly rule, is the ball not dead already?
It is dead. It's
That's
actually
why
to
they
protect
keep
the runner.
Play.
It's actually to protect the runner, not vice versa.
And I'm glad this is coming through before we give our farewells here. The Yankees acquired $100K from the Mets for Luis Torrens, so they traded him for cash it.
Rob,
Fine.
what do you think about what we were seeing, bro?
It's just more of the same from this terrible umpiring crew. The entire league is being riddled by it. Like you just said, Tats, the fact that a game ended this way a week ago and they admitted it was the wrong call, and then to do the same thing a week later, what is he supposed to do? Like everyone keeps saying, where is he supposed to go? He tried to get out of the way. If he steps off the base to let the guy catch the ball, are they allowed to tag him? Like, what are you supposed to do there? He's got to get back to the base, because I think even if the infield fly rule, even if the ball is dropped, the runners can go. I believe if that ball falls in, the runners can go because it would be considered an error or something. So Soto has to get back to the base on a dead ball. So what do you want him to do? Stand there and get tagged? Because then he's out anyway. So what is he supposed to do? He does try to get out of the way. People are like, oh, he's lollygagging back to second, but where is he supposed to go? He can't run around the guy because then he's out of the base path. He can't run behind the base because then he's out of the base path too. So he's got nowhere to go. He's got one direction to go, and that's unfortunately right in the path of the dude trying to catch the ball. So they need to clarify this rule a little bit. And if it's an infield fly, automatic out, no one can advance, there's no errors involved. Maybe you do that, or just take away the infield fly in general, because that's all. It's kind of a stupid rule anyway, if you think about it, because the ball is in play. Why is that if it goes slightly past the infield, it's not an infield fly? I get it because it's in the outfield, but why is it only in the infield that rule applies? Like, a pop-up is a pop-up. I don't know. It's weird. The infield fly rule has always been kind of weird to me, and the fact that there's an interference call on a dead ball is also just absolutely ridiculous.
Terrible.
Well, that's what it is. Then get rid of, I understand that the premise of the infield fly rule, like we all, we've all been watching the game a long time. We know it. I think it, that's a rule that needs to stay, but they need to tighten the language up on it. I don't know what, fifth grader was allowed to write that rule out, because it makes absolutely no sense. An adult could not have thought that through. Once you that and that's what made the whole play that much more confusing, and it made it even worse that it happened a week earlier to end a game where they had to be like, you know what, we made the wrong call. Like, don't you guys talk to each other? It's, don't you guys stay on the same page? It's not that hard. Put a group text together. Yeah, guys, I made this mistake.
A WhatsApp chat.
Don't do this. Don't do. It's so freaking stupid. Like, it's so simple to just communicate with each other, and they don't do it. Like,
Angel Hernandez Snapchatting, fucking his grip. Yeah, that would be interesting. The only thing that's shit is the umpires. The fact that we play the San Francisco Giants in a great game potentially. This is the kind of game that you want to watch, and it's at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday night.
I like the night games. That's just me.
Oh yeah, because you got to work graveyard hours.
Yeah,
but
I actually get home from work and the game is still on.
The rest of us, I don't want to stay up till 10 just for the game to start. It's nuts.
It is nuts. Think about the poor expats that have to watch abroad. 4 o'clock in the morning. Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, that does suck.
Jesus Christ.
But we will be back Monday. We will break down that series as well as every other game. But we do want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this morning. And again, for everybody that stuck it out with us with a little bit of a delay this morning, we appreciate it. And like we always say, hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out, friends, family, stranger on the corner. Hope everybody has a phenomenal weekend. And as I always like to say, Whittles pinch us with pride and play hard.
Have a great weekend, everybody.